Ahem. There once was a movie named Jacko, about a scarecrow that liked to attack-o. Kind of like Pumpkinhead, but made much less bread. I watched it, and that makes me wacko. And with that limerick, I am now a better leprechaun than the leprechaun from Leprechaun the Beginning.
I want me go!
Greetings, friends, and welcome back to the 3-Minute Horror Show. My name is Ben, your host, and I love horror movies. In fact, I watch the bad movies so that you don't have to. You're welcome. In case you couldn't already tell, today I'll be reviewing the movie Jacko from 1995. It's a movie about a killer scarecrow with a pumpkin on his head, but I'm sure you already figured that out from the name and the poster. Yep. This movie was directed by Steve Latshaw, who has a history of working very closely with Fred Olen Ray and Jim Wynorski, who are both legends in the indie horror business. Usually as a writer for their pictures, but this time he's the director. Speaking of Fred Olen Ray, he acted as an executive producer on this movie, and we also see John Carradine, Brink Stevens, and Linnea Quigley all on screen, all low-budget horror movie royalty. Jacko is streaming here in Canada on Plex and Tubi. God, I wish I was reviewing Pumpkinhead instead of this movie.
Duh.
A little nerd named Sean is sitting at a campfire with an older relative, at least I assume this dude is a relative, and he's told the story of the Pumpkin Man, a local legend who has been terrorizing the town of Oakmoor Crossing since at least the Wild West days. What these two don't see is a woman watching them from the woods. Later that night, Sean dreams that the Pumpkin Man is approaching his window, but it was just a dream. Sean is walking home with some kids the next day, and one, a bully kid, starts telling stories about a local witch. The bully sees some regular-ass looking 90s lady sitting in a car and decides that she's the witch. This little hooligan starts hucking rocks at her and Sean tries to stop him. The lady rescues Sean from getting his ass beaten and introduces herself as Vivian Machin. She's in town to write a book about her great-grandfather Walter, who was a warlock or something. She walks Sean home and Dad invites this stranger who just appeared with his child in to help him run his Halloween haunted house. Haha, the 90s. Here are some crazy behind-the-scenes tidbits on Jacko. Number 1, this was John Carradine's final film. In fact, his scenes were shot 8 years before the movie was released back in 1985. Number 2, it was shot on weekends, and the house that they used as the Kelly house is actually director Steve Latshaw's house. Number 3, they shot the movie in February and March, so all of those pumpkins that they used on set had to be pre-purchased and then stored to keep fresh. Number 4, the movie was actually written by the guy who plays the Pumpkin Man. And number 5, that little nerd Sean Kelly is played by Latshaw's son Ryan. Some local 35-year-old yahoos party it up in the old graveyard where the Pumpkin Man and the Warlock are supposedly buried. They drink beer and engage in horseplay, and eventually one of them pulls up a crucifix buried in the ground. That wakes the Pumpkin Man up, and he kills them with his big scythe and claws. Vivian Machin appears on the murder scene shortly thereafter and harnesses the power of her great-grandfather the Warlock. Meanwhile, Linnea Quigley has a shower because that's what she always seems to do in these movies. She arranges for her younger sister, who is home from college, to babysit Sean during the haunted house. Quigley then flirts mercilessly with Sean's dad, and that seems very inappropriate. Better Jackos than Jacko, the movie. This Jacko was the king of pop, and he did not like being called wacko. This Jacko will surprise you with the new Energizer. Dun 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 dun. Oi! Breaking news! We interrupt this hilarious and certainly not overdone segment with some breaking Jacko news. It was reported on August 11th, 2025 that Fred Olen Ray and Gatorblade's Sean Donahue will be teaming up with original director Steve Latshaw to produce Jacko 2. Now back to the review. It's haunted house time, and Quigley and Sean go trick-or-treating while his parents and Vivian run the charity haunted house. While this is happening, the Pumpkin Man has come back to life and he's killing everyone in sight with his scythe. The Machins created the Pumpkin Man in ancient times to take revenge on Sean's ancestors, but I don't know what they wanted revenge for. The Kellys probably had a hoedown that was too loud after dark one night or something. If the Pumpkin Man can bury Sean alive, it will bring the John Carradine Machin back to life so he can get back to his warlock business of warlocking around. The pumpkin guy looked okay, but the rest of the effects in this movie were terrible. The story was bonkers too. Haven't these guys ever heard of Stranger Danger? The kid was also annoying, and again, why watch this when you could be watching Pumpkinhead instead? Fred Olen Ray stated in the director's commentary that one reviewer called this movie a shit pickle. And this revelation made Steve Latshaw so angry that he got up and stormed out of the commentary. He came back a little while later after cooling down though. Shit pickle. Ha! I rate Jacko 3 out of 10. As always, a link to my letterboxd appears in the video's description. Please leave me a like, comment, and subscribe as it really does boost my engagement and helps my channel grow. Smell you later, nerds!
My dad won't let me ride with strangers. I just live down the street.